Welcome back to more Neverwinter Nights! My name is Luglug. We are here in the tavern talking to Dylan Red Tiger. He's going to continue her story, so shh! Everyone shut the fuck up! In time, we have been together. You have respected my request for privacy, Luglug. Now I feel I'm ready to tell you the rest of my tale. I mentioned my exile to you before, Luglug. The truth is, I did not willingly leave Youthgard to come to Neverwinter. The tribe cast me out. You are half-orc, Luglug. You know the hatred that follows our kind. You know how the world sees us. I am a monstrous half-breed. As a child, it was obvious my blood was tainted. I was violent and savage. It was only because of the pleas of my mother that the tribe did not slay me as an abomination while still an infant. Them hate you just because you different? You don't understand. Not only am I different, I am half-orc. The orcs are my tribe's most hated enemies. For generations they have warred with Uthgard. How could my tribe welcome me when I am a living reminder of their worst foe? What about your daddy? I never knew my father. My mother never spoke of him, though I saw the pain in her eyes whenever I asked. But where the pain came from, I could not say. Some in our tribe said he was a vile beast who forced himself on my mother during a raid. Others claimed my mother loved him and welcomed him into the bed, then wept when he was murdered by the warriors who discovered them. The truth I shall never know, for I died with my mother last winter. At her death, the tribe cast me out. Can you blame them? Why waste good provisions on a half-breed bastard, yet to prove himself in the world? That's not right! They mean to you for no reason! I bear all my tribe no ill will. They had little choice until I prove myself they cannot be certain where my loyalties lie. Once I show the spirit of the Youthgard disappear within me, the Red Tiger tribe will welcome me back. And it's not as if they abandoned me in the cold. They gave me food and weapons before they sent me out into the world to prove myself, and a sacred talisman of the tribe once carried by my mother. Forgive me, Luglug, but I cannot speak of this anymore. It's too painful. We want to help you, Dylan. I thank you for your kind offer, but there is little you can do for me right now. Please, Luglug. The things I said before, the words were, this is not the time to speak of such things. Perhaps later I will speak more of this, but not now. Alright, so yeah, what we need to do is we need to talk to everybody and get all the henchmen going.
Hello there. You don't have the look of one of those Neverwinter soldiers about you. Neither do you show any evidence of having contracted the plague.
But you have a certain bearing about you that distinguishes you from the ordinary citizen. Based on my observations, I'd venture the hypothesis that you are an adventurer, correct? You right! Me an adventurer! Me am Luglug! Who you be? I am Boddyknock, a gnome sorcerer from the islands of Lantern, who has only recently arrived here in Neverwinter. Lantern? Ain't that the island where the crazy inventions and stuff come from? My homeland does not have a reputation for producing marvelous machines and outlandish contraptions, not otherwise known in Faerun. We Latines are people guided by analytical principles of science, observation, reason, and logic, but don't allow yourself to be misled by rumors and hearsay. We aren't all kooky inventors as some would have you believe. I myself am a sorcerer, for an example. Me thought Lantern not like magic people. The Lantanese people do not discard magic, though many do not understand it. However, in my land, we rely on arcane far less than other peoples of Faerun. We prefer to seek a scientific solution to a problem rather than a magical one. Often through observation and experimentation, a problem can be solved without resorting to magecraft. Of course, sometimes a little touch of the arcane is a good thing. When the situation is appropriate, I do not hesitate to use my powers, Luglug. I may be from Latin, but I am first and foremost a sorcerer. What are you doing in Neverwinter? I left my home some time ago to experience the broader world. It is not uncommon for the people of my island to undertake such a journey. I was exploring the northern Sword Coast when I heard rumblings of a previously unknown plague breaking out in Neverwinter. In the name of scientific discovery, I came to investigate the catalog of the new illness. Fortunately, I arrived before the city was quarantined. I decided to begin my investigations on the Wailing Death in Beggar's Nest. Why you pick Beggar's Nest? From the accounts I gathered, it was generally agreed that Beggar's Nest was where the outbreak began. I thought it was best to learn about the plague, was to trace it back to its source. And when I learned the clerics were unable to combat the plague, I thought that I could apply the scientific principles of Lantern to discover a more mundane cure. Unfortunately, I had to end my investigations into Beggar's Nest mere days after they began. Far too short time to conduct a proper study of the situation. What happened? Why you stop investigating? It is difficult to conduct a serious scientific analysis when you are constantly besieged by zombies.
Much as I wanted to continue my research, I was not able to throw my life away to do it. However, the zombie infestation stuck with me more than a mere coincidence. I suspect there may be more than a casual relationship between the animated corpses in the district and the outbreak of the plague itself. While the zombies continue to wander the district, I cannot test my theory, but I suspect information that could lead to a cure can be found within Beggar's Nest.
Me looking for help in me mission.
Your mission? And what mission would that be exactly?
Me work for Erebeth. Me mission be big secret. And me looking for creatures, important. They cure plague.
Yes, I suppose extracting a cure from certain reagents could be a possible method of countering the rapid spread of this epidemic. Given my own scientific interest in the plague, I would be happy to accompany you on your mission, Lug-Lug. All evidence seems to indicate you are a capable man who isn't afraid of a little adventure and exploration. Your looks are unsavory, but only a fool judges on appearances. I'll join up for 250 gold pieces.
What if me give you 200?
You are
okay,
back.
then me talk to you
To
again.
conclude.
Fuck it, ain't got all day. Here's 250.
To be completely accurate, I'm not your slave. We've entered into a binding contractual agreement is all. Every expedition needs a leader. Since you're paying, it's only logical that you should be the one in charge. I'll use my spells and skills to help you out as I can. If you ever want me to change my tactics, speak to me to give me new instructions. Alright, we gotta get Tomi's story started as well. Sharwyn and Grimgnaw as well.
Is there something you need?
I'm a staunch proponent of the free exchange of ideas, Lug-Lug. What is it that you wish to know?
Me want to know you better. Me think that important.
Your request is completely logical, Lug-Lug, and I'll be happy to answer your inquiries. However, as you might expect, I have some questions of my own. Why are you here, Lug-Lug? What events are the underlying basis of your service to Erebeth in the city of Neverwinter?
If me say Neverwinter, me be big hero.
I should have guessed, Lug-Lug. The allure of fame is a common connection among many who undertake missions such as yours. My own motivations are somewhat different. When I heard about the plague, I was flushed with the thrill of scientific discovery. I thought that if I applied principles of observation and experimentation, I could discover a cure for the plague. It was only after I arrived that I realized how wrong my preconceived notions were. I suppose the need to learn this lesson was one of the reasons my mentor insisted on sending me out from Lantern. I am a sorcerer. I have the ability to unleash powerful and dangerous forces. I would have been foolish to undertake this career path without seeking the guidance of one more experienced than I. However, sorcerers and wizards are not common in Lantern. We prefer to find scientific solutions to problems whenever possible, rather than relying on magic. At least I managed to locate another who could train me in the arcane arts, a human sorcerer named Porphyro, who lived in the secluded tower on the far side of the island.
Him take you in?
I admit, when I first arrived at Porphyro's tower, I did not receive a warm welcome, or rather, to be more accurate, I should say, I received an overly warm welcome. Just as I reached Porphyro's tower, a large lizard popped out from behind a nearby bush. It was somewhat alarming. However, when the creature opened its jaws and belched forth a jet of flame, I became absolutely terrified. I fled back the way I had come, and the fire drake's blast of flame licking at my heels the entire way. As soon as I passed beyond the boundaries of Porphyro's land, the creature turned and disappeared back into the bushes.
What did you do next?
Once I had regained my wits, I realized the fire drake served a dual purpose. It was a guardian for Porphyro's estate. It also provided a challenge for any who would be apprentices who might wish to approach him. If I could find a way to best the creature, I was certain Porphyro would see my potential and accept me as an apprentice. The problem was how to get past the creature when my magic was barely capable of igniting a candle. I had to rely on my mind to solve the problem, so I began to analyze the facts as I knew them, and then I realized the creature was nothing more than an illusion.
Illusion? How you figured that out?
I simply looked at the evidence. Fire drakes are not indigenous to my island, and the climate is hardly suitable for one to survive. Plus, I noticed no burnt patches of grass or scorched bushes on the ground. And the flames I felt licking at my heels had done no damage to my shoes and clothing. Armed with undeniable proof of the illusion, I marched up to the tower once again. When the lizard appeared, I simply ignored it. It charged straight at me, fire and smoking spewing from its jaws. But I held my ground, and a split second before the beast bowled me over, it disappeared in a shower of light. The door to the tower swung open. I stepped in to see an old man in robes. He smiled at me and said, "Well done, Boddyknock nickel." You have proven yourself worthy of being my student. I am Profiro.
What is it like being him apprentice?
I'm sorry, Luglug, but this isn't the most reasonable time to discuss it, is it? After all, Neverwinter is in great peril. Ask me again later, Luglug, and I'll be happy to continue my tale. But for now, we should focus on your mission for Lady Erebeth.
You go bye-bye. Me want to talk to this hot bitch.
Some poor soul straggling in off the diseased streets? Are you here to join our ranks and beg for an employer? Or are you actually here to hire someone?
Who you be?
My name is Sharwyn. I call this city my home. I seek adventures and excitement. If you seek the same, you'd be smart to hire me and accompany you.
You sure you useful, huh?
What other way is there to be? Should I better fawning and squeal at the sight of every mouse? Shall I hang on to your shoulder and beg for protection? I know what I want, and I seek it out. We can make a fine team, you and I, if you don't mind. Don't try and deny it.
You local girl, huh?
Does that make a difference? I see people I've known my whole life falling to the sickness around me. I'd say that gives me more motivation than most, and incidentally, I am no girl.
And if me not seeks adventure and excitement?
What is it to be? Then duty and honor? Power and riches? Somehow I doubt it matters. I'm willing to bet you'll find adventure and excitement along your path regardless of whether or not you seek them. I am a caster of bardic magic, a master of all skills, and a teller of the oldest legends, and with or without your help, I intend to achieve my own fame in the time. One day bards will sing their songs about me. Surprise, surprise, I don't care what you think. I've endured worse scorn from better, my lord, and survived. If my own family had its way, I would be now comfortably married to be a wealthy man I could never respect, bored to tears in a large Black Lake district mansion. How odd a game the fates play. My family lies mostly dead now, and Black Lake is full of frightened fools who bury their heads in sand, pretend the plague won't touch them.
Me look for help on mission.
So I understand. Might you be able to illuminate me the nature of the mission?
Me work for Lady Erebeth. Me looking for creatures. They are important. They clear the plague.
Erebeth is Lord Nash's servant, so your mission is bound to be exciting. Yes, I think I'd rather like to join you if the price is right.
Damn it, here!
Get a grip. I won't be a slave to you or anyone else for that matter. I'll follow you as you require. If you want me to do something different, do let me know.
So it's a good thing I got some money saved up. Come on, bitch. Alright, so basically, yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for more or less of this video, is getting all the adventures that we need. So far, we've talked to Dalen, Linu, of course. They've both accompanied us on a mission. We got to go talk to Tomi, or whatever the thief's name is. Tomi under gallows. We just got done talking to Boddyknock, Linkle. This is Sharwyn, and then last but not least, when we're done talking to her, we're going to go talk to Grimgnaw. Now, Sharwyn's a level 4 bard. You heard Boddyknock is a level... Well, she might be my level, actually, at this point. There's a way to... Man, 32 hit points. She ain't going to last long if she gets hit. I think they mimic your level. I'm not sure, though. There we go. Yeah, they all start, I guess, at level 4. Short bow, so she's a range attack. That's good. So we'll talk to her about her story, and then we'll come talk to Grimgnaw, who's a monk. A dwarven monk.
Yes? Is there something you need?
Me just want to talk.
Talk about what, Luglug?
Me want to know you better. A lot better.
You'd like to know more about me, would you? All right, Luglug, I'm game for a little chit-chat. I want to ask you something first. Why are you on this mission? Why work for Erebeth at all? Did she bat her pretty elven eyelashes at you, or is there some other forces at work here?
Me get lots of gold if me help Neverwinter.
Is that all there is to it, wealth and power? Are you sure? There are many other ways to become rich other than performing great deeds, you know. Surely you must have chosen this way for some reason. I desire fame above all else. I want to walk the path that others haven't, to make my own legend rather than recount others. I want to be thrilled and awed by my life, and when I look back on it, regret nothing. This may seem shallow to you. I have my reasons, however, and I ask no one's approval. What do you think, then, Luglug? Do I have a chance at those things traveling with you?
You not worry, Sharwyn. You stick with me. You be famous.
Promises, promises. I'll admit there's something about your future that holds great possibility, however. We'll see where it leads. Far better to make the attempt, I think. Far better even to perform great deeds and remain unknown than not to even try at all. I know where the normal path leads, believe me. The path of the expected, the path that everyone else wants you to lead. Down that path lies oblivion.
Oblivion? That a good game. Oh, you talk about something else.
Death, Luglug. Or as good as it is anyways. There are many ways to die that don't leave a corpse. If you wish, I'll tell you a tale sometime about my family and how I became what I am today. You'll probably be bored to tears.
What?
As I am certainly not the stuff of legends yet, but it's up to you.
You tell me now.
No, I'm not in the mood to tell you. Of legends and fairy tales certainly, but I tell stories about myself when I'm ready. I'm sure there's plenty to keep us busy, correct? Lead on, Luglug.
Boo! Boo! What about now?
Is there some...
I suppose I did offer to tell you about my family, didn't I? Very well. I'll tell you.
Good.
By my family, I actually mean my mother. She's the one true family I've ever known. I've never met my father. He and my mother were parted ways before I was born. Mother was an adventurer, you see. A mage, in fact, of some skills. That's what other people have told me. However, as mother would never discuss it, she left her life behind, along with my father, to marry a man of wealth.
Why she do that?
As I said, my mother wouldn't discuss it. She had far more important considerations, after all, than any adventuring nonsense. My mother wanted wealth. She wanted to live a life of fine jewelry, of carriage rides and fine mansion in Black Lake. Her husband was the means to an end. She left behind her magic and instead spent her life spending money, far more money than my stepfather could ever afford. She didn't care a whit for his complaints so long as he kept providing her coin. When he died unexpectedly, she was devastated, not because he was gone, but because he left behind a mountain of debts. She was terrified at the thought of being poor.
What about you? You not sad when he died?
I never really knew him, to be honest. My mother kept me quite distant, shuttled from one private school to another. She formed a desperate plan. Although she rarely saw me when I was a child, now she had need of me. I was a comely young woman, and she would be seeing me wed to a wealthy bachelor. Not for my benefit, of course, but for her own. I was so meek and accustomed to being ruled by her, I couldn't even conceive of an objection. My mother had her eye on a young Lord Frothingham. He would never stoop to marry poor nobility, however, not unless he desired me. I would have to seduce him.
Did you?
I had intended to. I went to Lord Frothingham estate to attend a party being held in his honor. My mother meaning us to meet. When we arrived, I was awestruck at the size of the hall. There were so many people dancing I could barely take it all in, and the music was so beautiful. I stepped onto the floor and approached the man my mother pointed out. I was very nervous, but the man was handsome and kind and witty. I fell in love with him immediately. My mother grabbed me away from him angrily not long later. I had mistaken her directions. It was not Lord Frothingham I had danced with after all. It was far too late for my heart, however.
I guess your mother not happy.
She was furious, naturally, since I never got to meet Lord Frothingham. She was even worse when it was discovered who I had met. His name was Dannon, a penniless apprentice bard in the service of Lord Frothingham. I was utterly in love with him.
I'm getting tired. When is the story over?
My mother told me not to forget all about him. I couldn't, however, despite the possibility that we might lose everything.
Love do that, me thinking. Me have loved lots of women.
I was young and blind and hopeless. I fell for the first man who showed interest in me. Not that my mother intended for that to stop us. I had a choice, obviously, take the path I was expected to seduce Lord Frothingham, or run off with the penniless bard. I should have done one or the other. As it turned out, I made a mess of everything. Being a young fool, I suppose that could be expected. I'll tell you what happened sometime later. Let's continue on, shall we?
Yes?
I know you. You were at the academy during the slaughter of the students. You were there when the assassins came.
Who you be? How you know about academy? I am Grimgnaw, a monk of the Order of Long Death. The grisly account of the academy is no great secret, Lug, not to those who seek such things out. Tell me, as you stood amidst the blood-soaked corpses of your fellow students, did you gaze upon the face of death? Did you look into his cold eyes and feel his icy touch upon your soul? You be a creepy dwarf. Many find the members of my order unsettling, for we embrace death in all its incarnations. Yet in times like these, my skills are in great demand. What kind of skill you say you got? I am a discipline of torment and messenger of death, the silent lord. I bring absolution of pain and anguish to my enemies, to prepare them for the brutal and purifying end. In truth, my skills are not so different from any soldier or higher blade, though I embrace the beauty and perfection of my enemy's death with a zeal others often lack. Why monk of long death order be here in Neverwinter? There is a foul taint upon this city, death. True, permanent death is perfect in the absolute finality. Pain, suffering, anguish, torture, these are the tools that prepare us for my master's soothing embrace. But this plague is unnatural. Its victims never pass to embrace of the silent lord. The wailing death is a blight upon the world that must be ended. So far I have uncovered no answers on my own that might help in this epidemic, though I am eager to search the beggar's nest. What be in beggar's nest? I've heard rumors that in the blighted district zombies walk the streets. Few things are so reviled by my order as the abomination of the undead. It would be reasonable to imagine there's some connection between the undead and the unnatural end of those who succumb to the wailing death. Why you not go check Beggar's Nest yourself? I already killed everything. Alone, I am not likely to survive the dangers of the district, and throwing my life away is a foolish way to serve the silent lord. My death will come in an appointed time. Me looking for help? The monks of long death rarely join with others outside our order, but I sense the mark of my master is upon you. A storm of blood swirls around your anguish, and death will follow in your wake, just as it did at the academy. Yet there are many whom death will follow in this city, many who are willing to pay for my services. My fee to join your cause is 250. What about 200? Damn it! I am a slave to only one master, the silent lord. I serve you only as long as you remain an agent of death. I foresee a future of brutal and savage slaughter at your side, Lug. My order will be pleased. My hands will deal death to your enemies, and my skills are yours to command. Whenever you wish me to change my tactics, you have only to speak to me.
Is there something you need?
We just want to talk. Conversation is one to pass the time until Silent Lord comes to claim us. What do you wish to speak about? We want to know you better. I would ask Lug, what will you tell me about yourself first? I'm eager to know what type of man I have allied myself with. Why do you serve this plague-ravaged city? What possesses you to venture out in the streets amidst the bloated, swollen corpses and burning funeral pyres? If me save Neverwinter, then me be big hero. The name of a hero lives on long after the hero has passed from this world. But do not fool yourself, Lug. Your legend may live forever, but you will not. True death, the ultimate end of existence, is one perfect absolute in a flawed world of uncertainty. The Order of Long Death understands this. We want to know more about your Order of Long Death. We bring pain, torment, and anguish to the denizens of the world to prepare them for release of death. We spread devastation. We seek to tear down, to obliterate and destroy. The monks of my order bow down to death, Lug. We may swear allegiance to another, but only as it serves the will of the Silent Lord. So, Silent Lord be God, and you order worship? My order does not bow before any god. We worship death itself. In all its incarnations, gods are transient. Even a god may die, Baal, Bane, Cyric. But death itself is always present. The Silent Lord is the name we give to the concept, the very essence of death. We all serve death in one way or another, Lug. It is only after I left Mithril Hall to join Order that I truly came to understand this. Mithril Hall? Me not know you come from there. I spent several years in Mithril Hall in the service of Brunor Battlehammer before I joined the Order of Long Death. Uh-oh. Brunor Battlehammer. He's in some of my favorite bookies. But there was no place for me among the clans of Mithril Hall. I was shunned and reviled by my own kind. Shunned? What you mean? This is not the time to speak of this. Oh, yes it is! Very well. I've been reluctant to speak of my time in Mithril Hall, but you will not let the matter rest. When Bruno Batterhammer reclaimed the throne in Mithril Hall not 20 years ago, it kindled a fierce racial pride in all the dwarves of the north. I was one of the many who flocked to Bruno's banner. One of many who came to battle the denizens of the Underdark and drive them from the mines beneath Mithril Hall. You said before they shunned you. What happened? This was long before I joined the Order of Long Death. And at first Mithril Hall welcomed me, for even then I did not fear death, and I was eager to inflict it upon my enemy. There were many among Bruno's followers who shared my love of battle and the reckless fury for which I slaughtered my foes, but none of them appreciated the terrible beauty of what is all around us. Have you ever heard the glorious chorus of screams of dying drow echoing in the chambers of the dwarven mine, or paused in the battle to taste the palpable scepter of death descending on the field like a cool mist? Have you ever stood over a dying comrade, drinking in his pain and fear as his life bleeds away, gazing into his eyes to glimpse the terrible understanding shining through the final instant death claims him? Me not ever had that pleasure. After the battles, I would walk among the scattered corpses, fascinated by the truth of their deaths. The others found it disturbing, I knew, but I couldn't stop. The compulsion was too strong. As I wandered amidst the twisted, mangled bodies and gazed into the mask of agony forever frozen on their faces, I understood. Drow, Drugar, dwarf. In death we are all the same. In death we are all perfect. I tried to share my revelations with my brothers in arms, but they could not understand. They only looked at me in horror and disgust. Them just weak. Them scared to death. They not strong like you, Grimgnaw. I left Mithril Hall shortly after my revelation in search of something. I found the Order of the Long Death. I suppose I cannot blame my fellow dwarves for their reaction. The acceptance of death is not easy. Even among my order there are those who cannot face the Silent Lord when their time comes. What you mean? I'm sorry, Luglug. I should have not said anything. This is a matter that must be solved by those of my order. It's okay, dwarf. You can tell me secret, and maybe me can help you. This is not the time to speak of this.
Is there something?
Alright, so we got them as far as they can go. Let me make sure Boddyknock wouldn't.
You're back. So, is there something you need?
Yep, he's gonna say more. You seem quite interested in my time as an apprentice under Porphyro, Luglug. I suppose we can afford a few minutes for me to recount those days. Porphyro instilled in me the basic principles of magic and the underlying laws governing the arcane. His knowledge and wisdom were an inspiration to me, though his organizational skills were somewhat lacking. What you mean? I would constantly stumble across magic items carelessly strewn about the tower, potions and elixirs from half-finished experiments that would be left sitting on the kitchen table. Ancient scrolls and he had been copying would be stuffed under the cushions of the chairs. Wands would be turned up in the closets and drawers, and he never ever locked his laboratory despite the countless powerful magic items and dangerous experiments he often dabbled in. That must be real tempting for a apprentice like you. I admit seeing all those potions and wands and scrolls just lying around was difficult, and I must confess I did give in to temptation. I just snapped. I couldn't take it anymore, and I did something rash and completely out of character. I waited until my master left on an extended trip, and then I cleaned up Porphyro's laboratory. I organized the scrolls and potions and wands. I built shelves to store the magical components of his research, and I made a catalog card system so he could cross-reference all of his tests and results. Items that were particularly powerful or unstable I locked safely away in a magical reinforced chest with a key that I presented to Porphyro on his return. That's it? You just cleaned up?
What can I say, Luglug? I was young and foolish. Porphyro's own reaction was similar to yours. He couldn't believe what I had done, although he did continue to use the filing system I had set up for him.
Me not believe you had all that magic there and you not even tried to use it. What kind of magic guy is you? Aren't you curious?
Of course I was curious, Luglug, but my hunger for experimentation was tempered by my reason. Imagine the damage I could have done if I dared experiment on my own. I was an apprentice, so the sensible course of action was for me to follow the lead of my master. Any other course of action would have been illogical.
Huh? What the... That's not a good... logic and reason is okay, but sometimes they boring.
I must admit my actions may seem overly cautious, but that is the way of my people. Curiosity is tempered by careful analysis. However, since I left Lantern, I find myself growing more bold in my quest for discovery. After all, I did come to plague-infested cities in order to chronicle a new disease, among other things.
What do you mean by other things? There be some other reason you come to the city?
I'm sorry, Lugluck, I should have not said anything. It's really a trivial matter, and you have far more important things.
It's okay, Gnome. You can tell me your secret, and maybe me help you.
Ask me about it later, Lugluck. I'll be happy to continue my tale. For now, let's continue to help Lady Arabeth.
Alright, and I think that's it. I think we're all caught up with all 6 of the henchmen. Alright, so one last henchman to go talk to. And then we'll end the video and I'll decide who we're going to take into the Black Lake District. We got Boddyknock with us right now. We're just going to go ahead and we're going to warp to where Tomi is. I'm just going to call him Tommy. Little Tomi.
So, you've come back, looking for a short lair to tickle your feet? Or did you change your mind about needing a rogue at your side?
We'll go through the normal dialogue here. Come on, I gotta be able to at least persuade the rogue.
So, you've come back.
Nope.
So
Last try.
come back.
I'll tag along with you, my lord, as fast as I can. Unless you tell me otherwise. If you want me to do something different, just give me a shout, eh?
Eh? What can Tommy do for you?
Yeah, Tomi. His name's Tomi. In Point, the tales of my deeds were the daily fodder of old men in the taverns. I do not speak of heroic acts, however. I'm a halfling of the underworld, you'll remember. What deeds you talk about, then? Oh, nothing of sordid as evil as you might guess. I've had fame and fortune aplenty before then once, and lost it all just as often. My most famous exploit, in fact, is one of the reasons I chose to come to Neverwinter when I fled to Calimshan. You see, I'd spent a larger part of my years in Calimport in the employ of a powerful Medusa. She was a great power in the city's underworld, and in no small feat for anyone statue-making gaze or know. Medusa? You serious? Quite serious. She had a fine head for her business, and was ruthless as any cold-hearted sheik. Not as good with the face-to-face negotiations, though, if you take my meaning. I was in her employ to run errands, burglaries, message deliveries, walking her cat, assassinations, that sort of thing. I did my job well, too, and was well known for it. The job that made me famous, however, was the last one she gave me. I was to infiltrate the house of the famous vizier Sabalan Vinide, I don't know, and kill him. You was an assassin? Were you successful? I was, though not in the manner you're probably suspected. There's far more to the story than I've told. We've business to understand. We want to hear the rest right now. Wow, you're more impatient than a drunk camel driver in line at Salt Market, aren't you? Ask me another time. Okay, another time. Continue your story. What's this? All right, where was I? Was I telling you about my infiltration of the house of the great vizier Sabalan Vinide? I believe I was. That was no ordinary mission, my friend. Sabalan had stymied the efforts of Medusian patronesses for many years. He was a mage of no little power. Sending me to kill him was both a vote of my confidence in my abilities and, I thought, a near certain sentence of death. Looking me in the eyes would have been cleaner. You would be able to get into Wizard's house? I did say that the job made me famous, didn't I? And anyway, the threat of being turned into a short statue was rather an incentive to succeed. Perhaps it's fortunate that us halflings aren't given much credit,
I was able to squirm my way into the vizier's service as a kitchen boy, and nobody gave me a second thought. For over a month I was pleased to serve the vizier's meals. I spent my time studying him, looking for a way to kill him cleanly, and he barely even noticed my presence.
Why you just not poison food?
I would have, I suppose, except that he ate his meals with his daughter, and that made things a bit complicated. Oh, his daughter, the sweet lass. Seda was her name, human to be sure, but she never looked down upon me. I suppose I delayed killing Sabalan at the time just to continue being around her, though. I didn't think at that time. There was just one more excuse after another. The months grew longer, and Seda and I grew closer. She couldn't resist my charms, of course. No lass can. When I put my mind to it, we had been secret about it. I was, of course, just a kitchen boy.
You in love, no?
Oh, I don't know all about that. I thought so at the time. Sure enough, my patroness kept threatening to turn me into a statue and let the pigeons have their way with me, however. I was young and foolish and stupid, however. 3 traits as a great and the buxom lass, but the poor and an assassin. I decided I couldn't hurt Seda by killing her father, and I told my patroness to go look in a mirror. Needless to say, she didn't take it well.
You betrays her. Why you not kill Mage and run off with the girl?
The girl wasn't going anywhere. Trust me, I tried. Come to think of it, the mage wasn't all that easy to kill either. My Medusa patroness decided to take matters into her own hands, of course. If I'd known, I would have left Galemport a lot earlier.
Me not see how this make you so famous.
It certainly didn't look that way at the time, I'll grant you that, my lord. At any rate, it's a bit of a story. I'll tell you the rest some other time. Let's just keep on with the quest for now.
No, I need to know!
Nah, I'm not in the mood to talk. Let's just keep going with your quest, eh?
And we shall continue that quest later on, Hordlings. Stay tuned for more Neverwinter Nights. I promise some action in the next video.